Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher. Welcome to Not Perfect Zen and day 20 of the Inktober Tangles for 2021. I have an extra pen out here on this one. I've been saying I'm only going to use the Micron 01 and a graphite pencil and a blending stump, but for this one I may end up using a graphic one, so I do have that out just in case, and you'll see why when I get to the pattern for today. And today it's Oysteroid, which sounds like asteroid and oysters mixed together, because that's kind of where the name came from. It is by Jody, Genovese, and she said that when she did this pattern, it reminded her of an asteroid, but a friend told her it kind of looked like oysters, and she kind of put that together to call it Oysteroid. And there's not a lot to this. They're random shapes, and I tried adding watercolor to this one and a little bit of highlight. Didn't come out quite as nice as I thought it would. The reason I did that was because I had looked at some tiles that other people had done, and they had done them on tiles that were already colored, and then when they added the shading, the highlights with a white charcoal pencil and a white jelly roll pen, it looked really cool. And that one's okay, but not quite my favorite. But I want to play with this one because I think it is fun. It's easy. It's meditative. Anything to me that has a lot of easy, repetitive patterns is very meditative. My lighting is different tonight because I usually do this during the day when I have really good sunlight coming through my window, but I've had people trying to work on my Wi-Fi, and no, it's not fixed, but I'm okay. It's still working, and so that's what matters the most, but it may cause some shadows because I'm using the light in my room. Okay. So for this pattern, if you can see on this, they're really random sizes and shapes, and she just makes one side kind of thick and the other is just regular. So adding the weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, to one side. So I'm just gonna start putting some patterns down. I saw one that was kind of in a circle, and so you could do that similar to a border and then put something else inside. But let's just do a few and see what we think. Okay, I think this one, let's just kind of start with shape like that. And then we're just going to, like I said, add some weighting on this side. So what I tended to do was make a little bit of an aura and then just fill that in. And so that's where I was saying you might want to use a graphic one, which has a nice thick tip. So if you're doing a lot of these, it's easy to just fill them in. And for this pattern, you end up doing a lot of those. Okay, so now we're just going to make an aura around this. And it doesn't have to be a perfect aura, but we're just going to go around and meet that first one. And then we're going to do the same thing as I did on that first one, is add some white around it. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so I don't want to make this take forever, but I do want to make it look good, so hang in there with me. All right, let's do another one. You can have these come in closer. I mean, if you think about looking at an oyster shell on the inside, it's not exactly even. Oops, I just noticed that it zoomed out. Okay, and you can add as many or as few of these as you want. I'm going to have another one come out this way. And then add my aura. And if you're using like a graphic pen, then you could just very easily come around the outside like this to fill that in, and then use your 01 to kind of smooth and even that out. Now that one got pretty thick, didn't it? Okay, here's my second one. That one kind of looks like toast, doesn't it? And these don't have to have the weighting on the same side. Again, these are just random shapes. This is another one that if you have access to Instagram and you put in the hashtag, which would be Oysteroid, then you'll see some good examples of what other people have done. Okay, I'm going to put one more around this. Sorry, that one's looking a little bit sloppy. But I will smooth it out when I come back around. I saw one on Instagram where they colored just the very top layer. Okay, so let's go out this way. Make a small one. And again, I'm just adding a little bit of an aura and then making it heavier on one side than on the other. Oops. Okay. And then we could have another one come out this way. And then just, again, make a thicker line on one side. And this is easily added to another organic tangle. And they don't have to be all connected like this either. And I'm putting 3 of these on each one, but there's not any particular number of these rings that you need to put on. Just happens to be what I'm doing. Okay. So just, I'm going to come out this way on this one because we don't have to have them all meeting right there. Okay. If I wanted to, I could make it smaller, come inside, put another one. And I'm purposely kind of varying how large and small I make these because they don't have to perfectly match what was below it. Decided to come a little bit inside on this aura. I'm going to take this one around just a little bit. All right, I'm going to go over this just a little bit with my graphic. Just to fill these in easily. Because I try not to push down too hard with my 01. I have had a couple of those lately that I did that and it pushes the tip in and then it makes it pretty much unusable, I'm sorry. And I need to find some other pins, not just a graphic one. You could use an 05 or an 08. I did recently find out that Zentangle even has a 10, a size 10. That's pretty cool. All right. I'm not going to go all the way around. I'm just going to show you this much. And I think, like I said, that this would probably work better with some other things around it. In fact, I'm going to put a few orbs here. I think that might help. Now it definitely looks more like oyster shells. With bubbles around it. Okay, I think that helps. For the shading, where you have those darkest sides, I've seen the tiles that I looked at had a nice amount of shading right here. And I'm putting a fairly good amount right next to that darkest edge. But I'm trying to not go on top of that ink because it does tend to kind of take away from it. All right. Now, I want to show you that my tip is kind of rounded, and there's something that you can do to push that out. This is a large paper clip, and I have opened up one side of it to straighten it out. And then when I push it in, get it down in there. Okay, can you see how that pushed that out? So now I have a little bit better tip. Now I'm just going to go in here and just soften this a little bit next to each one of these. And you can pull it down a little so we don't have a harsh edge. You could also put a little bit of shading where one of these goes behind another. Okay. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of like a C right here on these larger orbs. And then come back with my blending stump and just very softly curve those around. All right. And I might go ahead and add a couple more in here before I finish tonight. But like I said, I got a late start, and so I wanted to make sure I got this done on time. So far, I'm staying on schedule. And again, I thank you for joining me for the Inktober Tangles. I hope you're enjoying it. And if you're not doing it every day, that's just fine. You know, there's no rules to Inktober. It's just something to encourage you to do something with pen and ink every day. And there are very few days since I started doing Zentangle, which was, oh goodness, the beginning of 2018. I've really done it almost every day. Very rarely missed it. I am going to put my chop right here. Thank you again for joining me. I hope that you like this one, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye, my friends. Thank you.